Focus on yourself, not them. When you finally choose to focus on yourself, everything changes. You stop giving energy to what doesn't grow you, and you begin to see how powerful you truly are. This is the moment you recognize that your peace, your growth, and your healing matter more than any distraction around you. You no longer try to control what's outside your reach. You simply master what's inside of you, and that shift alone elevates your entire life. When you invest in your confidence, your habits, your mindset, and your future, you rise above old patterns that once held you back. You understand that not every season requires noise. Some seasons demand silence, discipline, and distance so you can evolve without interference. And as you grow, you realize something beautiful. The right people will always meet you at your healed level. You don't have to chase validation or prove your worth. You just keep becoming the best version of yourself, and life aligns with your energy. Because the moment you focus on yourself, not them, you step into the life you were meant to live. This is how God warns you about these people. There are moments in life when God tries to get your attention, not through a loud voice or dramatic sign, but through the subtle shifts that happen around you. He doesn't always remove people instantly. Sometimes he reveals them slowly, gently, in ways that make you pause and look deeper. This is how God warns you about certain people, those whose presence drains your peace, disturbs your spirit, or quietly blocks the growth he wants for you. The warning often begins with a feeling you can't explain. Your heart senses something long before your mind does. You notice the way your spirit gets heavy around them, how conversations leave you confused, tired, or emotionally off balance. That discomfort isn't random. It's not overthinking. It's God whispering, "Pay attention. Something here isn't right." God uses your intuition as his first alarm system because your spirit is built to detect what your eyes can't yet see. Then come the small disruptions. Misunderstandings that shouldn't happen but do. Promises broken in ways that seem subtle but repetitive. You start noticing patterns. Words that don't match actions. Kindness that feels conditional. Affection that seems to disappear whenever you need it most. These moments are not coincidences. They're confirmations. God is showing you the truth piece by piece, so you have the strength to accept what he's revealing. One of the clearest warnings God sends is the sudden shift in atmosphere. You could be having a normal day, but the moment they walk in, your peace just drops. Something in your spirit tightens. Something feels off, but you can't point to a single reason why. That shift is spiritual. God is alerting you to a presence that doesn't align with your purpose. God also warns you through delay. When someone is not meant for your journey, you'll notice that your life stops flowing when they're close to you. Your goals stall, your joy dims, your motivation fades. You start carrying emotional weight that isn't even yours. You feel stuck without understanding why. This is God saying, you can't move to the next level with this person attached to your life. Sometimes the delay isn't punishment, it's protection. God won't let certain blessings reach you until certain people leave you. He knows their intentions even when you don't. He sees the conversations you're not present for. He hears the thoughts you can't read. He understands the motives that are hidden behind smiles. His warnings are not to make you afraid. They're to make you aware. Another powerful warning God gives is through conflict that keeps rising no matter how much you try to fix it. When someone is not aligned with your destiny, the relationship becomes a constant cycle of emotional turbulence. Peace becomes impossible. You feel misunderstood, undervalued, or drained. You walk on eggshells. You apologize for things your heart didn't do. This is God showing you. This connection is costing you too much of yourself. God will never tie your emotional well-being to someone who is not meant for your future. If the connection keeps taking more from you than it gives, it's because God is pushing you to let go. God also warns you through separation. People suddenly distance themselves, communication fades, or interactions become cold without reason. You may feel abandoned, but it's actually divine intervention. Sometimes God removes people silently because he heard conversations you didn't hear, saw actions done behind your back, and protected you before destruction reached you. What feels like rejection is often God's redirection. He removes what you wouldn't recognize as harmful. He closes doors you were too loyal to close yourself. And even though the separation hurts, the healing that comes afterward reveals the truth. You weren't losing anything, you were being rescued. One of the strongest warnings comes through exposure. God allows masks to fall. Truths come out. The real motives behind someone's presence become clearer with time. You catch inconsistencies you once ignored. You see the selfishness, the manipulation, the envy that was hidden behind charm or closeness. When God exposes someone, He is giving you the evidence your heart needs to let go without guilt. Exposure is protection wrapped in truth. But above all, God warns you through lack of peace. Peace is His voice. Confusion is not. If someone brings anxiety, heaviness, or emotional chaos into your life, that disruption is God saying, "This is not from me." Peace is your confirmation, pressure is your caution. God will never send someone who destroys your mental or emotional stability. He will never attach you to a connection that costs you your identity, your purpose, or your relationship with Him. When God warns you about people, it's not because He wants you to fear them. It's because He wants you to guard your heart, protect your purpose, and keep your spirit aligned with Him. The warnings aren't punishments. They are gifts. They are signs of His love, His wisdom, and His desire to guide you toward the life He designed for you. So when God shows you who someone truly is, believe Him the first time. Trust His signs. Honor His guidance. Because God will never remove what's meant for you, but He will always expose what's not. God's warnings rarely arrive with thunder, flashing signs, or dramatic revelations. More often, they come softly, through the shifts in your spirit, the changes in your environment, and the subtle clues you notice when you slow down enough to pay attention. This is how God warns you about certain people gently, consistently, and always with the intention of protecting your peace and your purpose. The first sign is spiritual discomfort. You might not have proof, but your heart feels unsettled around them. Something inside you feels tight, uneasy, or drained. That internal tug is not random. It's not insecurity. It's discernment. God uses your spirit as His communication line, and when someone's presence disturbs that inner calm, that's His way of telling you, be cautious. This connection is not safe for your soul. Your intuition is one of the most powerful tools God has given you. Trust it when it whispers. Another warning comes through the way they respond to your growth. Pay attention to people who seem supportive when you're struggling but shift when you start stepping into strength. God reveals true intentions through reactions. Someone who is meant for you will celebrate your elevation, not compete with it. If your success threatens them, if your confidence irritates them, or if your progress makes them distant, that is God removing the veil. He is showing you the difference between someone who likes your presence and someone who values your purpose. When someone can't handle your growth, it's because they were never meant to grow with you. God also warns you through repeated discomfort in the same areas. If someone consistently drains your energy, triggers your wounds, or makes you feel smaller than you are, that pattern is divine communication. God allows repetition, not to punish you but to make the message undeniable. He'll let the same behaviors show up in different forms until you finally recognize that this is not where your heart belongs. The constant emotional weight, the lack of peace, the inner confusion, these are spiritual sirens. They tell you that you're investing in a connection that is costing you more than it's giving. One of the clearest warnings God sends is through the way people handle your vulnerability. Watch how someone treats you when you're honest, open, or hurting. If they dismiss your feelings, mock your sensitivity, or use your weaknesses against you, God is telling you, this person does not deserve your heart. A safe soul receives you with compassion, not criticism. A healthy connection protects your raw moments, not weaponizes them. Your vulnerability is sacred, and anyone who mishandles it reveals that they are not aligned with the love and protection God wants for you. Sometimes God warns you by disrupting the connection altogether. Plans fall apart, communication fades. You keep trying, but nothing flows. The more you push, the more resistance you feel. It's not a coincidence, it's intervention. God blocks what is not meant to go with you into your next season. You may see it as loss, but God sees it as rescue. He knows that some connections would derail your purpose, distract your mind, or delay your blessings. So he steps in and creates distance, not to hurt you, but to free you. What feels like a closed door is often God protecting you from rooms that would have broken you. Another divine warning comes through exposure. God will let things surface, truths you didn't see, words spoken behind your back, actions that reveal real intentions. Masks fall, inconsistencies show. People reveal themselves not because they changed, but because God removed your tolerance for ignoring the signs. Exposure is not betrayal, it is clarity. God will never let deceit stay hidden when it threatens your growth. He will show you exactly who someone is so you can choose from truth, not illusion. God also warns you by showing you how you feel about yourself when they're around. If you feel insecure, unseen, unworthy, or not enough, that is not love, that is spiritual misalignment. Anyone who makes you question your value is a distraction from the identity God placed within you. Healthy people don't make you shrink, they inspire you to expand. If you have to become less just to keep someone close, God is telling you they are not aligned with your destiny. The strongest warning of all is the absence of peace. Peace is God's voice. Confusion is not. If someone brings emotional chaos, if your spirit can't settle, if your heart feels constantly heavy, that is your answer. God will never assign you to someone who destabilizes your spirit. Peace is the confirmation you can trust. Lack of peace is the caution you must honor. God speaks through quiet discomfort. He speaks through heaviness. He speaks through that inner voice saying, "Something is wrong here." When God warns you about people, it's not because He wants you to fear relationships. It's because He wants you to protect your purpose, your energy, and your future. His warnings are acts of love. His signs are reminders that your heart is valuable, your spirit is sacred, and your path is guided. So when God shows you someone's true nature, believe Him. When He gives you signs, honor them. When He creates distance, allow it. Because God will never remove a person who was meant to stay, but He will always protect you from those who were never meant to go where He's taking you next. God's warnings often arrive long before your mind understands them. They come through whispers in your spirit, shifts in your environment, and patterns that repeat until you're finally ready to see the truth. This is how God warns you about certain people, not with fear, not with panic, but with clarity. It begins with the quiet uneasiness you feel when you're around them. Nothing dramatic happens, yet something inside you tightens. Your mood changes. Your peace disappears. Your intuition starts signaling that something about this connection is not aligned with where God is taking you. That internal discomfort is not something to ignore, it's the first layer of divine protection. God speaks to your spirit long before your mind catches up, and when your spirit gets restless, it's a cue to pay attention. The next way God warns you is through the shift in how they treat you. You begin to see moments where their behavior doesn't match their words. You notice their interest fades when you need support. Their enthusiasm rises only when it benefits them. Their presence feels conditional, unpredictable, or emotionally unsafe. These are not small things. These are revelations. God lets you see the subtle cracks in someone's character before those cracks become deep wounds. He reveals their inconsistency to show you that this person is not someone you can rely on for your emotional security or your spiritual peace. When God highlights someone's pattern, it's because He wants to protect your heart. Another warning comes through the timing of trouble. Notice how certain people enter your life when you're most vulnerable, most distracted, or most wounded. They show up when you're doubting yourself, when your confidence is shaken, or when you're carrying heavy emotional burdens. And instead of helping you heal, they add more weight. Your spirit starts absorbing stress that doesn't belong to you. God uses this contrast to open your eyes. He lets you see who contributes to your healing and who contributes to your hurting. The people who drain you in your weakest moments are not people God wants attached to your destiny. He is showing you that not everyone is meant to walk with you through every season. God also warns you through disruption. Plans keep falling apart. Conversations turn into conflict. You feel misunderstood, unappreciated, or emotionally exhausted. Every time you try to bring peace, something pulls you back into chaos. These repeated disruptions are divine messages. God is saying, this connection is costing you too much. He allows the tension to rise not to punish you, but to push you out of a situation that is quietly damaging your spirit. Chaos is never God's language, clarity is. When confusion keeps surrounding a person, that confusion is a sign that they are not aligned with your path. Sometimes the warning is silence. God will give you distance, even when you didn't ask for it. Communication slows down, the bond weakens. You feel them slipping away emotionally or spiritually. This separation may hurt, but it is mercy in disguise. God removes people not because they are always bad, but because they are not meant to hold the kind of space in your life that you were giving them. He sees things you don't see. He hears conversations you weren't there for. He knows intentions you would have never guessed. The distance he creates is protection from future pain. What feels like abandonment often becomes the breakthrough you didn't know you needed. Another powerful warning is exposure. God lets truth surface in moments you least expect. You overhear something. You notice a contradiction. You see a behavior they can no longer hide. Their actions start revealing the parts of them their words tried to cover. This exposure isn't to embarrass them, it's to free you. God will never let you stay in a connection built on lies, manipulation, envy, or hidden motives. When He exposes someone, He is giving you the clarity to make decisions without guilt or confusion. Exposure is a form of elevation because it clears away what blocks your spiritual growth. God also warns you through the way you feel about yourself around them. Pay attention to the connections that dim your light, weaken your confidence, or make you question your worth. If someone brings out insecurity, self-doubt, or emotional instability, that's a sign from God. The right people will activate your strength, not your wounds. They will inspire growth, not fear. You should never feel smaller just to maintain a connection. When someone pushes you away from the person God is shaping you into, He will tug at your spirit until you can no longer ignore it. The strongest warning of all is the absence of peace. Peace is the language of God. He speaks through calm, clarity, and inner knowing. If someone consistently disrupts your peace, that is your answer. You don't need more signs. You don't need proof. The lack of peace is God's loudest warning. He will never place you where you lose yourself, your identity, or your purpose. If your spirit is unsettled, He is guiding you toward release. When God warns you about people, it's not to make you fearful. It's to make you wise. His signs are protection, His intuitions are guidance, and His revelations are acts of love. So when you feel the discomfort, when you see the patterns, when the distance forms, when the truth shows, listen. Believe what is being revealed. Honor the warning. Because God will never let someone stay in your life who threatens the future. He's preparing for you. He removes what isn't aligned so He can make room for what is. Trust His signs, trust His timing, and trust that whatever He is warning you about, He is also protecting you from. God's warnings rarely come in dramatic ways. They arrive quietly, gradually, through the unfolding of moments you would normally overlook. This is how God warns you about certain people. Slow enough for you to notice, gentle enough for you to choose, and clear enough for you to understand once you stop running from the truth. The first warning begins with the shift inside your spirit. You may not have evidence, but something feels off. Their presence unsettles your peace. Your heart tightens. You sense a tension that wasn't there before. That inner discomfort is God tapping on your spirit, telling you that this connection may not be aligned with His purpose for your life. Your intuition is often the voice of protection. When something inside you whispers, be careful, that whisper is not random. It's divine guidance moving through your emotions, your nervous system, and your spiritual sensitivity. Another way God warns you is through their inconsistency. You start noticing how their actions no longer match their words. They show up when it benefits them, but disappear when you need support. They speak beautifully, but behave differently when it matters. Their energy fluctuates, warm one day, cold the next. God allows these inconsistencies to surface because He wants you to see the truth without making excuses for it. He exposes character through subtle contradictions so you don't build a future on illusions. When someone's reliability becomes unpredictable, that unpredictability is not confusion, it is revelation. God also warns you through exhaustion. You may start feeling drained after interacting with them, even if nothing bad happened. You might carry emotional heaviness that doesn't belong to you. You may feel mentally tired, spiritually depleted, or constantly overthinking the connection. This exhaustion is not accidental, it's a divine signal. God is showing you that this relationship is taking more than it gives. It is pulling you away from your peace, your purpose, and your emotional balance. Anytime someone becomes a source of confusion, heaviness, or anxiety, that is God revealing they are not aligned with the path He has prepared for you. Another warning comes through sudden conflict. Even small interactions turn into misunderstandings. Conversations feel tense. You feel like you're constantly defending yourself, explaining yourself, or trying to fix things that break again and again. Nothing feels stable. Nothing flows smoothly. These constant disruptions are not coincidences, they are spiritual alarms. God uses conflict to reveal where harmony cannot exist. He shows you the emotional cost of holding on to someone who doesn't value your heart or understand your spirit. He lets the friction rise because He knows you won't move without feeling the discomfort. Sometimes the warning comes through distance. Communication slows. They stop reaching out. The bond feels weaker. You sense emotional separation even when physical distance hasn't changed. This distancing is often divine intervention. God removes people gently so you don't have to endure the deeper pain of discovering their true intentions later. He pulls them away not to hurt you, but to protect you. What feels like someone losing interest is often God redirecting your life. He is clearing space for people who can pour into you, not drain you. God also warns you through exposure. Something happens that reveals their true intentions. Something they said behind your back, a hidden motive that becomes obvious, a behavior they can no longer disguise. The truth shows itself in ways you can't ignore. This exposure is not betrayal, it is clarity wrapped in mercy. God is protecting you from deeper wounds by showing you who someone really is before you invest more of your heart. He will never let deception stay hidden when it threatens your future. Another powerful warning comes from the way you start shrinking around them. You dim your voice, you hide your feelings, you second-guess yourself, you walk on eggshells to avoid conflict. You feel like you're not enough or too much. That emotional shrinking is spiritual misalignment. Anyone who makes you feel less than your God-given worth is not meant to stay in your life. God uses these emotional reactions to show you that this connection is damaging your identity, your confidence, and your inner strength. But the greatest warning of all is the absence of peace. Peace is God's confirmation. Lack of peace is His caution. When your heart loses calm, when your spirit feels unsettled, when anxiety becomes the atmosphere, that is God speaking to you. He is telling you that this person does not belong in the next chapter of your journey. Peace is not just an emotion. It is a spiritual compass. When God wants you to step away, He removes peace. When He wants you to trust a connection, He strengthens peace. When God warns you about people, it is never meant to create fear. It is meant to create wisdom. His warnings are acts of protection, invitations to clarity, and opportunities to choose yourself. He shows you signs so you never have to walk blindly. He pulls you back so you don't walk into harm. He allows things to fall apart so better things can come together. So when God reveals, believe it. When He removes, release it. When He unsettles your spirit, listen. Because God will never take something from you without the intention of replacing it with something better, safer, and more aligned with the destiny He wrote for you. God's warnings often come long before your eyes recognize the truth. They begin gently, like a soft shift in your spirit, a quiet discomfort you can't quite explain, a heaviness that appears only around certain people. This is how God warns you about those who are not meant to walk with you, guide you, or influence your direction. The first warning is always spiritual. Your heart tightens, your mind feels uneasy, and your peace feels disrupted in their presence. Even if nothing is said, even if everything looks fine, something inside you whispers, something is wrong here. That whisper is not anxiety, it is divine intuition. God speaks through your instincts, through the quiet nudges that pull your attention toward things you would normally ignore. He alerts your spirit long before your logic understands why, because your spirit can sense danger before your eyes can see it. The second way God warns you is through misalignment. You start noticing that whenever this person enters your life, things stop flowing. You lose momentum, your routines fall apart, your motivation weakens, your joy becomes inconsistent. It's not them directly causing it, it's the spiritual disconnection they bring with them. God will never align your path with someone who shifts you away from your purpose or lowers your vibration. The emotional disturbances you feel, the sudden lack of clarity, the way your goals start slipping, these are not coincidences. These are signs that the connection is disrupting your calling. God uses misalignment as a tool to show you that certain people are not meant to journey with you into your next season. Another powerful warning comes through repeated setbacks. You may notice that blessings slow down when they are close. Opportunities fall apart. Doors close unexpectedly. You feel blocked, stuck, or unable to move forward. This happens because God will withhold elevation when you are connected to someone who could sabotage it. He won't let you rise in an environment that is spiritually unsafe. He loves you too much to let someone with unhealthy intentions access the blessings He has prepared for you. So He stalls progress, not to punish you, but to protect you. The delays you experience are divine signals. God is showing you that the spiritual weight of this person cannot be carried into your future. God also warns you through the discomfort of truth. He allows small things to happen, things that reveal parts of their character you couldn't see before. You may overhear something that exposes dishonesty or hidden selfishness. You may catch an expression, a tone, or a reaction that reveals envy or resentment. You may experience a moment where their support disappears just when you need it most. These moments are not accidents. They are revelations. God removes the mask gently so you can see clearly. He shows you who someone truly is through patterns, not moments. And once those patterns become obvious, you can no longer deny what your spirit already knew. Another warning comes through emotional imbalance. You might notice that their presence stirs restlessness within you. You feel anxious, insecure, or confused. You start questioning yourself more. You feel unheard, undervalued, or dismissed. Any connection that forces you to lose yourself is a connection God will eventually expose. He did not create you to shrink, silence your voice, or compromise your self-worth. If someone makes you feel less than the person God is shaping you into, that emotional discomfort is a divine warning wrapped in feeling. God is reminding you that your identity is sacred, and anyone who disrupts it is not sent by Him. God also warns you through distance. Suddenly the relationship feels forced. Conversation becomes inconsistent. The bond weakens. Communication slows. The energy shifts. These changes often feel painful, but they are divine protection working in silence. God removes people gradually when you don't have the strength to let them go instantly. He creates separation so you can see the relationship from a higher, clearer perspective. And although distance feels like loss, it is often the first step to healing. God is making room for people who can love you, support you, and grow with you in alignment. Then comes the warning through emotional exhaustion. If every interaction feels like a drain, if you feel like you're giving more than you're receiving, if you feel empty instead of uplifted, this is not just relational stress. It is a spiritual message. God is showing you that your spirit is not nourished in this connection. Anything that consistently drains your emotional or spiritual energy is not from God. The people He assigns to your life will bring clarity, not chaos, strength, not confusion, peace, not pressure. But the clearest and most undeniable warning God gives you is the removal of peace. Peace is His language. Peace is His confirmation. Peace is His voice. And when someone disrupts that peace, it is God telling you that this connection is not meant to stay. If your spirit feels unsettled, if your heart feels anxious, if your mind feels turbulent, that is not love, loyalty, or normal conflict. That is God's protection. He takes peace away to redirect you. When God warns you about someone, it is always out of love. He is protecting your purpose, your heart, your future, and your calling. He sees what you can't. He knows what you don't. He hears what you will never hear. And His warnings are not meant to break you. They are meant to save you. So when the signs appear, honor them. When your spirit speaks, trust it. And when God exposes someone, believe Him. Because He will never remove someone meant to stay, but He will always remove someone who cannot go where He is taking you next.